Next, we're going to be speaking about data structures. Now, let me make this clear. As a beginner, a basic beginner, the one thing that you'll most likely be using to store your data is called a list in Python. It might be called an array in other languages or array lists, for example, in Java. But in Python, you're going to be making extensive use of lists. So data structures, just as the name states, it's a structure, it's a mechanism, it's a thing that we use to store data, right? It's going to be a single variable used to hold multiple types of data. For example, when I go back to my Thonny and I open this one, I have name equals that one thing called name. What a data structure would allow you to do is to have many names inside that one thing. So I can have 100,000 names in a list, for example. I can have 100,000 ages in a list, for example. So let me give a brief overview of what they are. So a list, this is the main one again. This is the one that you'll be making use of most as a beginner. It can be unordered and you use square brackets to create it. Next, we have a dictionary. Uses the idea of key and value, must be ordered, and uses curly brackets. I'm going to show what this means, so not to worry. But when it says key and value, let me go back to my program. The key might be name and age, right? So for every name I have, that person should also have an age. So let me go to, let's say, Notepad. And I might say name, and I might have something like age. So for every name, so I might be called Runs Tech Hub, and this YouTube channel has been about for like, what, 1 year, 2 years? So it might be 2 years. So that's my name. And then I have another friend called Ray Mo 2 Hands. He's had this channel for like 1 year. There's another one called Tech Jamo. Tech Jamo has had his channel for about, oh God, let's just say 10 years. I think it's about 5-10 years, and so on and so forth. So the way a key and value thing works is almost like this. So the left one is called the key and the right one is called the value. Now the left one, the key, must be unique. I can search through the entire thing, but this is what I will use to search the key. For example, my channel is called Runs Tech Hub and it's been about for like 1.5 years, something like that. So I'm just going to say 2. So the key is Runs Tech Hub. The value is 2. And I have another friend called Raymo 2 Hands. He has a channel as well that's been about for a year or a bit less. So the key is Raymo 2 Hands and the value is 1. Another friend of mine, big channel, 10,000 plus subscribers. Go check both of these guys out, by the way. We have Tech Jamo is the key and the value would be 10. So that's how it works, key and value. Now going back to my definitions, next we have a tuple. It's similar to list, but it cannot be changed. The good thing about list is that I can go in and I can change the values in a list. A tuple is fixed. So once you create a tuple, you can go and look through it. You can print the values in it. You can see what's in it. You can ask it, do you have this thing? Do you have a value that's called this? But you can never, ever, ever change a value of a tuple. And now sets, unordered, unchangeable, unindexed. Unindexed meaning that we don't know where things are. So for example, again, in a list, let me go back to my thing here. I'm going to show all of this in Python just to give a quick overview. Let's say I have a list of names called, let's use what I had up here, Runs Tech Hub. Let's use Raymo 2 Hands as well. That's another thing in the list. And let's use Tech Jamo. That's another thing in the list as well. These things have an index. They have a location. So in programming, we typically start counting at 0, not at 1. So location 0 is going to be Runs Tech Hub. So location 0 equals, let me copy that, Runs Tech Hub. Location 1 equals Raymo 2 Hands. And location 3 equals Tech Jamo. This is typically how it works. If something is unindexed, we cannot get the location of where it is. We can just print the whole thing and hopefully we can count and find where it is. But that's typically what that means. So again, quick overview, data structures, a structure, a mechanism, a thing that we use to store multiple forms of data. So rather than simply holding one name, a list can hold up to 100 million trillion billion names, as big as the program can grow, as much memory as we can use, as much processing power as there is available, we can store values. It does become very slow after a while, but the point being we can store many values in that same thing.